You are 14 years old in science class. The class is writing down definitions to learn about electricity. The textbook says that voltage is the number of joules per coulomb. You start imagining a really high voltage at an electrical power station. You start imagining all of those joules inside of that coulomb. But you realize you don't know what a joule is, and you don't know what a coulomb is. The textbook says a coulomb is the amount of charge in 6.2 quintillion electrons. Okay. And it says that a joule is a unit for measuring energy. But what's energy? The textbook says energy is the capacity to do work. But what's work? The textbook says work is the change in energy. So voltage is the thing that helps coulomb charges get work done by giving it energy. Or wait, that's not right. Maybe it's how much energy the electrons have. No, hold on. Because some electrons work harder than others, and that means that the electrons can't get done what they want to do. You are 17 years old in physics class. You're learning about electricity again, but more advanced. You're learning about electric forces and electric fields and electric potential energy. Your textbook says that electric potential energy is the amount of work required to bring a charge to a given point all the way from infinity. This is useful information. You will remember it next time you bring a coulomb from infinity. The formula for electric potential is all these things divided by r. The formula for electric field is all these things divided by r squared, which is different. These are different formulas. You are learning. Kinetic energy is the energy something has when it's moving. But what is potential energy? Why does this equation give energy to the electrons? What's the point of saying that potential multiplied by Q is potential energy? If you give charge to the potential, does it become energy? Why is potential multiplied by Q the potential energy? You are 19 years old in electric circuits class at university. You're learning about voltage dividers. What's a voltage divider? The voltage is being divided between the resistors because of the different voltages. Voltage is joules per coulomb. There are different numbers of joules in the coulombs in the resistor. If you multiply potential by Q, you get the potential energy for that resistor. This will help you do work when you bring the resistor from infinity. You are writing your final exam for electric circuits. It's an open book final exam, and your textbook tells you about the voltage dividers. The first question asks you to calculate the voltage drop across the resistor. Voltage drop across the resistor. The voltage is dropping over the resistor. The voltage is getting lower to the ground, which is where the current goes. You finally understand. You finally understand what voltage is. Positive charge wants to get to the lowest potential, just like a ball wants to roll down a hill. The steeper the potential, the more force it experiences. That explains the circuits and the equations and the whole energy per unit charge thing. Okay, that wasn't too hard. And so you leave your electric circuits exam happy that you finally understand voltage. But why did it take you 5 years to understand voltage? The idea of little balls rolling down a hill is not very difficult. Why did it take you 5 years to understand voltage? You are 19 years old. 5 years is more than a quarter of your entire life. Why did it take you 5 years to understand voltage? You're probably just stupid, right? This isn't normal, right? Surely, most people don't normally take this long to understand voltage. Maybe you forgot to do some homework, or maybe you missed the day where the teacher explained it properly. That's probably why it took you 5 years to understand voltage. Final exams are done, the term is over, and you're taking the bus to go visit your family and spend the holidays with them. Opening presents, eating dinner. You're so thankful to spend this wonderful time with your family on this peaceful night. But why did it take you 5 years to understand voltage? You open a web browser and go to www.lotr.fandom.com/wiki/Quest of the Ring. And you learn that Frodo Baggins took 6 months to journey from the Shire to the land of Mordor and destroy the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom. This means that Frodo Baggins could have destroyed the One Ring 10 separate times in the amount of time it took you to understand what voltage is and calculate a voltage divider. Why did this happen? Why is society organized in such a way that it took 5 years to explain to a teenager what the letter V meant on the magical tubes that you put in the Game Boy Advance to play Pokemon Sapphire? Is the teenager stupid? Did society fail them? Is it just normal that everyone on the planet needs to spend 1,826 and a quarter days studying voltage before things finally click and it actually all makes sense? Why did this happen? You are 31 years old. Your friends ask you, do you want to help research renewable energy sources and save the planet? Do you want to help develop high-tech equipment that will save lives? Do you want to start a charity or philanthropy organization to help those who are less fortunate? And you tell them, no. You're working on a math YouTube channel where you explain highly specific mathematical concepts. Only 1 in every million people will ever find any use for it. But you spent way too much time teaching this stuff to yourself, and your suffering has to mean something. But your friends didn't hear you because they are dead from the inevitable AI apocalypse.